Hi, I chose scaffolding for the high leverage practice to do further research on. First, we must ask ourselves, what is scaffolding? Scaffolding is simply any support used by a teacher or other student to provide assistance to a student who cannot complete a given assignment independently. The nature of scaffolding is to be temporary. It should be reduced according to how quickly the student in need progresses toward independence in learning. Scaffolding should be completely removed when the student can complete the desired task independently. Scaffolding can be either a planned event or it can be a spontaneous reaction to a student's need. Scaffolding has been found to enhance the learner's self-esteem and satisfaction with the learning experience, promote mastery, reduce classroom anxiety, and develop a positive student-teacher attitude. In the article, Scaffolding in Problem-Based Learning for Low-Achieving Learners, the authors break scaffolding into two main categories: hard scaffolding and soft scaffolding. Soft scaffolding is described as any dynamic interaction between the student and the teacher, or the student and other students during the learning process. This would include learners working in small groups to accomplish a particular task. Hard scaffolding is categorized as any static support or tools that are developed in advance to guide the learner during the learning process. Examples of hard scaffolding would be devices such as worksheets or graphic organizers that a student can use to more clearly define a concept. In a similar article, David Bowles and other researchers put forth the idea of a zone of proximal development. This is described as the area between where a child can currently achieve on his or her own and what they could potentially learn with support. These researchers also put forth a theory that three principles must be adhered to for scaffolding to take place. These three principles are contingency, fading, and transfer of responsibility. Contingency calls for the person supplying scaffolding to alter their support depending on the student's needs. Fading addresses the idea of slowly withdrawing the support as the student becomes more and more independent in the learning process. And finally, once the student has become wholly independent, the transfer of responsibility should take place. These researchers also developed three roles that every person providing scaffolding should adhere to. First is the support role. During the support role, the person providing scaffolding should simply make sure that the student stays motivated and engaged on a particular task. The next role is the repair function. The repair function begins when the student first encounters difficulty during the learning process. It is at this point that the person providing scaffolding takes a hands-on role in providing direct support for the student. Lastly is the heuristic role. During this role, the student has developed some level of independence, and it is the role of the person providing scaffolding to remind that student to use the tools that he or she may have learned during the scaffolding process. How can scaffolding be used in the classroom? One example of scaffolding in the classroom would be a show and tell. This is not the old child's game played in many elementary schools, but rather it is the person providing scaffolding showing a student exactly what is expected during the learning process. Next would be allowing the students to use their prior knowledge about a subject. During this time, a person providing scaffolding could ask a student to make prediction or hunches to determine what the next course of action should be. Another tactic to use when providing scaffolding is allowing time for students to talk with each other during instruction. This allows a student who may be struggling with a new concept to explain his or her thought processes and receive feedback from a peer as to whether or not they may be on the right track with their thinking. There is a near endless list of possible scaffolding ideas, and while scaffolding has been shown not to be 100% effective, it has been shown to be much more effective than providing no assistance at all. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video.